Chris Paul is just straight up unfair. Let's get into this. Chris Paul took this Phoenix Suns team all the way to the NBA Finals, and in Game 1, they actually just won in very convincing fashion. The Suns are just playing a great brand of basketball, and it's led by Chris Paul. Devin Booker is their best player, but Chris Paul is really the guy that gets everyone together and really gets the offense running. We all knew what Chris Paul was able to do after what he did for the Thunder last season, but we saw all season he really took this Suns team to the next level. You really saw what he's able to do. He's obviously very good from that mid-range area, and he could easily score basket after basket from that mid-range spot like we've seen in these playoffs as well. But what he really does well, and what my favorite thing about him, is his passing ability. Just getting all those wide open shots from 3-point range for all his shooters that they have on the Phoenix Suns, as well as getting easy dunks and easy layups from other players on his team like DeAndre Ayton and other guys cutting to the basket. He just does a great job of getting everyone in the right spots and running the offense very efficiently. And I always mention this in a lot of my videos. You always need a guy similar to Chris Paul, not to the extent of what he can do. Obviously, he's insanely good in this league, and not every team can have a guy like that. But what I'm saying is you always need a point guard, a true point guard in your lineup that could really calm everyone down in clutch situations and really just throughout the game, but especially in the playoffs as well, and just get everyone in the right spots and run the offense efficiently and just get the ball to everybody in the right spots. And then they can easily hit wide open 3-point shots or easy wide open dunks. It just makes it easier for every player on the team when you have a great point guard that can set everybody up very effectively. And I really think that's what the difference was between this season and last season. Last season, we obviously saw this Phoenix Suns team was very, very talented. They just didn't have that guy who could really calm everyone down and just be a true point guard. In the NBA bubble last season, the Suns even went 6-0. Unfortunately for them, they didn't end up making the playoffs. But either way, they flashed their talent, and able to go 6-0 against basically all playoff teams was very impressive for them. And now moving on to this season, they pick up Chris Paul and just see how much better they got with a guy like Chris Paul. But just to see how well Chris Paul has been playing on the offensive end, not just passing the ball, but scoring for himself in these entire playoffs, and also in Game 1 he played extremely well as well. It's just great to see for him, and he is on his way to getting his first NBA championship, which he definitely deserves. Chris Paul throughout his whole NBA career has always been very prolific in the pick and roll, and one of the best players in the pick and roll basically every single year. Why Chris Paul is so effective in the pick and roll is, of course, he's a great passer, so that gives you that threat for all the defenders around him, but also the defenders guarding him, that he can easily find that cutting wide open guy in the pick and roll for an easy dunk or whatever. But he also has the ability to kick out to any one of his teammates on his team. He just has eyes in the back of his head, and he always finds the open guy. That's what makes him super effective. But also, he can get all the way to the basket, and he's very effective. He's very efficient with all those layups around the basket. He could also put up that floater, which he's very efficient at, which every point guard should have in their game. You always need a floater as a point guard, but Chris Paul is very efficient and effective at it. But also, Chris Paul has an incredible mid-range game that he's had throughout his whole NBA career, and we've especially seen it in these NBA playoffs, where he's just in the pick and roll and they back off on him to make sure the center doesn't get a wide open dunk, and he just pulls up from that mid-range spot and hits bucket after bucket after bucket. He's literally automatic from that spot, and you cannot leave him whatsoever. But also, one of the newer things in the pick and roll that he does is he does high screen and rolls, and he actually hits those 3-pointers from deep very efficiently as well. That's something that he's definitely improved in his game over time, which is also great to see. What I personally just love to see about Chris Paul and what he changed his game into a little bit is just he's becoming much more of a scorer later on in his career, and that 3-point shot that he added and is super efficient at really helped him out a lot. It's just great to see how efficient this guy is as well. That, as I said before in the video, the mid-range shot is literally just automatic, and it's very difficult for the defensive team because if they bring that double team over to contest that mid-range shot, he can easily just find whoever's wide open, most likely going to be DeAndre Ayton cutting to the basket for a wide open dunk, which is 100% automatic. So it just puts the defense in a really tough spot. But after that great Game 1 win led by Chris Paul, who do I think is going to win this NBA Finals? So I think obviously the Suns are the favorites. I already made a video on this, and I think a lot of people think that. But I think this series is going to be a lot closer than people think. I don't think it's like a series where it's the Warriors where they were obviously going to win and it wasn't even going to be close. I think this series is definitely up for grabs, but I would definitely lean towards the Phoenix Suns. In Game 1, for example, we saw the Suns do a lot of great things. Their offense was very prolific. They were hitting their 3-point shots. They were getting wide open 3-point shots shots as well. They were playing great defense. They were just playing great all around. But contrary, on the other side, the Milwaukee Bucks had a pretty decent start to the game, but they kind of fell off a little bit. They tried to come back at the end, but it ended up not working out. But they had some nice things going for them as well. Giannis was, at least at the beginning of the game, he was playing pretty well in the offensive end. He was pretty effective in his post turnaround fadeaway, which is a new move that he's added, which makes him so much more prolific and why he's been so much better in these playoffs than in years past. But also the Bucks are obviously a very dangerous team. They have all 3-point shooters around Giannis, and if Giannis can get going throughout the whole game and really play like he has been playing in these playoffs and kick out to those wide open shooters when he gets double teamed and they will hit those shots more likely than not, then it could really be a tough matchup for the Phoenix Suns as well. It can really go either way, and I can easily see next game being a domination by the Bucks, for example. I'm not saying this can happen, but I could see the Suns dominate one game, the Bucks dominate the next. It's really just a seesaw event. The real question for the Bucks would be, can they stop Chris Paul or at least slow him down, as well as Devin Booker? They really have to focus on as well. He's been playing very well. But the real question for the Bucks is, could Giannis and Chris Middleton consistently play well throughout the whole game for multiple games in these finals? If they can, and I'm talking about extremely well, then they can easily win the series. Not easily, but they could definitely win the series. If they don't play well, they're not going to win the series. It's as simple as that. But luckily for the Bucks, Chris Middleton and Giannis have been playing extremely well all playoffs. And also they have quite a few matchups where they were actually the underdogs and they ended up winning that playoff series. When you talk about going all the way back to the first round against the Miami Heat, I don't know if they were necessarily underdogs, but a lot of people had the Miami Heat winning just due to the fact what they were able to do to the Bucks in the NBA bubble last season. And also against the Brooklyn Nets, basically nobody thought the Bucks had any chance of winning that series, and they ended up winning that in 7 games. So they've pulled off quite a few upsets in these playoffs already, and obviously they can definitely win this playoff series against the Phoenix Suns. Hopefully game 1 doesn't set the tone and every game's going to be a blowout by the Phoenix Suns, but in my opinion, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a pretty fun series, but we'll see what happens. At this point, I would still say I think the Phoenix Suns are the favorite, and that's my pick to win the finals, but we'll see. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Chris Paul really raised his game to the next level and it just became unfair? Or do you think Chris Paul isn't as good as I potentially think he is? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe and hit that post notification bell. It really helps me out a lot. And until next time, peace out, guys.